Brett Dawson here at a very quiet Air Canada Center, and that is a contrast from not long ago when the Thunder beat the Raptors here 132-125, a raucous playoff type atmosphere here. Carmelo Anthony called it a playoff atmosphere, and in that kind of heated atmosphere, Russell Westbrook was at his best. He had 37 points, 13 rebounds, 14 assists in what might have been his best game of the year, and what probably was the most purely entertaining Thunder game of the year. Maybe you'd put the Philly game, the triple overtime game in the mix. And it's one of the Thunder's best wins. Obviously, the win at Golden State is in contention there. But this is a big one. Toronto had won 11 straight games here. It had the best, still does have the best home record in the NBA. This was not a game on paper you could have expected the Thunder to win. But Oklahoma City was great, and Westbrook was the biggest reason why. He had 17 points in the fourth quarter, didn't turn the ball over in that fourth quarter, really got going downhill, and the Raptors just didn't have answers for him. Carmelo Anthony talked about after the game, Toronto really kind of left, didn't leave those guys, didn't leave Paul George, didn't leave Carmelo Anthony on the perimeter, and it gave Westbrook some room to maneuver. He was dominant. Really controlled the game, and it was a game that was hard to control. The Raptors led by one going into the fourth quarter, only lost one game all season in which they've led going into the fourth. This was only the second. They're now 43-2 in those sorts of games. And this was a game that really, it got heated. It was contested. There were big plays on both sides, kind of trading baskets back and forth. A couple of key plays. Paul George turns the ball over in a tie game. DeMar DeRozan goes the other way for Toronto. Paul George gets up and really hustles to get back and force DeMar DeRozan into some help, and Corey Brewer gets a steal. That leads to a couple of free throws for Paul George. That was a very big play, one of the biggest plays of the sort of non-Westbrook division in the fourth quarter. Alex Abrinas made a couple of big shots, and then the game really turned on a play where DeMar DeRozan drove, thought he was fouled, didn't get the call, didn't immediately get a technical, but got it down the road a couple of plays later, still complaining about that play. Replays looked like he was probably fouled, might have pushed off a little to create some space. The 2-minute report is going to be interesting, last 2-minute report on Monday. But Dwayne Casey was upset. The 3 guys got ejected for the Raptors for complaining about calls in that last, really after the game was pretty well decided in the last 12 seconds. DeRozan got tossed, Dwayne Casey, Serge Ibaka, all thrown out of the game over some very, heated exchanges with officials. The Thunder didn't really have that kind of situation. Carmelo Anthony did get a technical for arguing a personal foul, but the Thunder more or less kept its cool in a game where it really needed to. This is, again, one of the toughest places to play, one of the best teams in the league, certainly the best team in the East. So Billy Donovan, in his post-game press conference, said the word poise so many times that I lost count, and that's what he was most impressed with here. Not just the team's poise, but Westbrook's, the way he sort of surveyed the floor, the plays he made. He was calling his own number a lot, but he was taking the right shots. He was very efficient, 15-22 from the floor. Played great, and the Thunder really played great. At 6 straight wins, maybe this is a team that's sort of starting to build its playoff resume, get ready there. It's holding on to the number 4 seed now with a chance, depending on what happens tonight, to even get a little cushion there in that number 4 seed. A lot can happen. Still got to go to Boston on this road trip. As we know, this is a long stretch for the Thunder. This was the 2nd straight game against a team with a winning record. There are 9 more coming before it closes out the season at home against Memphis. So the schedule's still really tough, but this is a team that sort of looks like it's finding a playoff gear. Too soon to say, and we've jumped ahead of the game on the Thunder a few times this year. We're not going to do that, but interesting to see where it goes over these next several games.